Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots. Bootlickers, shills, deaths, lacers, peasants, vassals. I'm a useful idiot, and today we're going to talk about the Department of Homeland Security, because they're all getting excited about their new $4 billion headquarters in Washington, D.C., the biggest project since the Pentagon back in the 1940s. And that's right, $4 billion. And Obama's been pumping in about $200 to $400 million every year, and this year is no exception. And this continues to get funded in spite of all the debt ceilings, and the sequester and everything else. And this is a 4.5 million square foot, 176 acre campus for 14,000 employees. And it's being built on the former campus of St. Elizabeth Hospital, which is a former insane asylum. So a little poetic justice there. And speaking of poetic justice, Ezra Pound was kept there for a while, incidentally. And Janet Napolitano said, quote, "It will help us have meetings," unquote. So that's good. I think $4 billion is money well spent to have good meetings. And this is the consolidation of 22 different divisions. So what she was driving at was the fact that there's 22 different divisions of Department of Homeland Security that have been scattered all over Washington, D.C. And, of course, even in this technological age, apparently it's hard to have meetings. So they had to have this new campus. And I was a little shocked by the fact that there's 22 divisions to the Department of Homeland Security, because that seems like a lot more inefficiency. Because my understanding was that after 9/11, one of our problems was the fact that we had inefficiency in our intelligence community, and there was just too much separation, too many separate agendas, and that we needed to consolidate. And so what did we do? We actually created more intelligence agencies and 22 divisions of the Department of Homeland Security. I realize they're not all intelligence agencies by any stretch, but I can't imagine that this helps the problem. In fact, we have evidence that it hasn't helped the problem. Because as I pointed out in one of my previous videos, we've spent $800 billion on the Department of Homeland Security since 9/11. And mostly what we have is about a dozen or 24 entrapment cases by the FBI. Hardly qualify as terrorism at all. And now we have this fusion center out in Utah, which apparently is turning out to be a great disappointment too. And also the Department of Homeland Security, like all these other government agencies, are well paid. The average salary at the Department of Homeland Security is $70,000. And I looked at a lot of the job descriptions, and frankly, most of the jobs actually pay around $90,000 to $100,000. So that's times 14,000 employees. You do the math. And of course, one of my biggest problems I've always had with the Department of Homeland Security is just the semantic angle. Homeland Security, Department of Homeland Security, Department of Defense seem to me to be the same thing. Homeland Security and the Department of Defense. Surely we could have just added a smaller bureau to the Department of Defense to take care of this problem rather than create another giant 22 division department with 14,000 employees paid around $100,000 a year. And the other part of this story that I decided to find out about was, okay, so they have a $4 billion Department of Homeland Security campus that's being built in Washington, D.C., and of course Washington, D.C. has been completely resilient to any of the economic flux in the rest of the country. Business is good in Washington, D.C. and for the government. And so as it turns out, there's a construction boom, government taxpayer-funded construction boom going on in Washington, D.C. Part of this Department of Homeland Security campus is going to have a new $435 million headquarters for the Coast Guard. That's a $435 million headquarters for 3,000 people. And it is the most involved excavation of any Washington, D.C. project ever. So this is no mean feat. And they didn't make it look like an office building either. I put an attachment below so you can actually see this building that we're building. It has grass on the roof and reflecting pools and waterfalls. So it's government money well spent. They got some great digs there. Way to go, Coast Guard, getting that crib. And so let's look at a list of what's being built in D.C. right now, in spite of the fact that we're broke. We have the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Museum. We have the National Museum of African American History. We have the Dwight D. Eisenhower Memorial. We have the National Law Enforcement Memorial Museum. We have the new White House Visitor Center. We have the National Children's Museum. We have the American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial. And then the 47-acre Potomac Waterfront redevelopment project, too, as well as all the commercial projects, including a giant 1,100-room Marriott Marquis Hotel with 100,000 square feet of meeting space. And that'll be coming handy because I know the Department of Homeland Security is going to get tired of having those good meetings over at their 4.5 million square foot, $4 billion headquarters, and they're going to want to rent out some space over at the Marriott Marquis Hotel. And then there's the City Center Old Convention Center project with 350-room hotel, 110,000 square feet of retail space, and 700 apartments and condos. So things are good in D.C., and not only is the commercial sector reaping the benefits, but the taxpayers getting his money's worth, too, with nearly a dozen government projects. And those are only the ones I could find, and it's a pretty impressive list on its own. I'm sure with a little digging, there's probably a lot more government refurbishing and government construction and government projects, building projects going on in Washington, D.C. But still, the Mac Daddy of them all, the $4 billion Department of Homeland Security headquarters, I'm sure they will use it well while they can. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.